My buddy's birthday party turned into a nightmare when my girlfriend told him, "Don't worry, since I'd never really marry him. He's just my sugar daddy in this game." So I left the party, packed her stuff, changed the locks, and when she came begging at dawn, I refused while she lost everything, including her $7K cash that was in my house. Be me, 26-year-old guy. Never thought I'd be writing one of these cringe posts, but here we are. Was with this girl Brooke, 25, for just over 3 years. Lived together for most of it. When I say lived together, I mean I paid for everything. Condo rent was under my name. Utilities in my name. Groceries mostly handled by me. She paid here and there, but it wasn't close to 50-50ths. Didn't really mind at first. Like taking care of stuff. Felt like I was setting foundation for something stable. She worked in luxury real estate. Before anyone thinks that means she was rolling in money. Nah. She mostly did showings and content for her agency. You'd think she sold half the city based on her Instagram. But it was a lot of coming soon posts. Selfies at open houses. Stories about her grind that never actually ended in commission. Meanwhile, I work as a mechanical engineer. Not glamorous, but solid. Good pay, good benefits, long days. Deal with real deadlines, real planning, real consequences if something goes wrong. Machines don't build themselves. Manufacturing doesn't function without proper engineering. But to her, it was just your technical job. Like I carried wrenches around or something. When I wasn't working, I'd spend hours on my custom PC setup, researching parts, optimizing performance, cable managing everything to perfection. Built it myself from scratch. It was my escape, my project, something I could control and create with my own hands. She used to think it was cute how excited I'd get about new components. Later, she'd just roll her eyes when I'd talk about frame rates or cooling systems. Still, I thought we were good. For the first year and a half, she was sweet, supportive, made little Pinterest boards for wedding ideas, would send me accidental screenshots of engagement rings, caption like, "OMG, this is so cute." We talked about future stuff loosely, where we might live if we had kids, whether we'd get a cat or not. Those kind of convos that feel like small talk, but are actually serious. We were real and serious in that relationship. Had a ring tab open in my browser for months, had alerts on for price drops. Was just trying to time things right. Wanted to do it during summer. Maybe on a weekend trip to North Carolina. That was the plan. Then I don't know what changed exactly, but something definitely shifted. She started getting cold, but not like cold distant, more like cold above me. Little jabs here and there. One time I got home after working a 12-hour shift. She looked at me and said, "You always look so tired lately." It's giving middle-aged dad vibes. Then laughed like she just delivered a zinger on stage. I laughed it off, but I felt it. That wasn't playful. That was just rude. And then the next few days, it kept happening. I'd play a playlist while cleaning. She'd roll her eyes and say, "This music makes me feel like I'm stuck in a truck stop." I offered to pick up Chinese takeout. She sighed and said, "We always eat the same boring crap." These comments kept coming. Her attitude was unbearable and it was new to me. So one night after dinner, I'd had enough of pretending not to notice. Looked at her and just asked straight up, "Hey, is something going on with you lately?" She didn't even look up from her phone. I waited, then followed up with, "I'm serious. You've been acting weird, distant, cold, and not in a cute, mysterious way. Like it's just mean, if something's bothering you, just tell me. Say it to my face. Don't play these passive-aggressive games. I don't have the energy for middle school behavior." She glanced at me, smirked a little, and said, "Relax, you're being sensitive." That was it. Then she got up and started brushing her hair. Like I hadn't just confronted her about her behavior. No apology, no follow-up, nothing. I remember just sitting there thinking, this is what I'm working so hard for. This is the woman I was going to propose to. I don't know what flipped that night, but I started noticing everything. The tone in her voice, the way she looked at me like she was constantly disappointed, the way she barely responded when I spoke, but would immediately light up when her phone buzzed with a group chat. She started calling my hobbies childish, especially my PC building. Called it my little toy whenever friends were over, like I was playing with action figures instead of engineering something complex. Made me realize she didn't just disrespect me. She disrespected anything I cared about. And she had this look lately, like she was constantly unimpressed by me, like nothing I did had value. It wasn't even just cold anymore. It was disgusting. I found myself actually grossed out by the way she acted. Like the girl I fell for used to laugh at my dumb jokes and cuddle into me when I got home from work. Now she acted like my presence was an inconvenience, like I was her personal Wi-Fi provider with a face. Still, I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. Told myself maybe it was stress. Maybe she was overwhelmed and didn't know how to communicate. I didn't want to assume the worst, even though everything in my gut was screaming at me that this was intentional. Then one night I was grabbing laundry from the dryer, and I saw her phone light up on the kitchen counter. I wasn't snooping, I swear. The screen just caught my eye. It was a group chat with a few of her girlfriends. I only saw a few messages, but that was enough. One friend had said, "He's going to propose soon, I feel it." "OMG girl, that cold shoulder technique is actually working." Brooke had replied, "He better, I've put in time, Lowell." Another friend sent, "Girl, don't make it too easy. Make him feel like he's lucky you're still around." Then the one that really stuck. "You don't marry safe. You marry someone who scares you a little." Scares you a little. I wasn't sure what that meant exactly. Then Brooke reacted and wrote, "Bet I'll start acting colder. Let's see if he steps up." I stared at the screen for a few seconds, just thinking, okay, so it is intentional. She's not in a bad mood. She's not stressed. She's literally running some kind of weird personality test to see if I'll chase her or prove myself. What does that even mean, scared? How, like emotionally unstable or carrying a sword? That chat changed everything. It was like someone switched the lights on in a dark room, and suddenly I could see all the furniture I'd been stumbling over. Those messages kept replaying in my head. "He better, I've put in time, lol." Like our relationship was some kind of investment with guaranteed returns. Like loving someone is a transaction, where you deposit affection and withdraw a diamond ring. The casual way she discussed manipulating me with her friends made my stomach turn. These weren't teenagers. These were grown women in their mid-20s, strategizing emotional warfare like it was normal. The worst part was how cheap it all felt. If she'd been genuinely unhappy or needed something from me, an actual conversation could have fixed it. But instead she chose games. Mind games, personality tests, emotional obstacle courses, all designed to make me chase harder, prove more, earn what I used to receive freely. And for what? So she could feel like she'd maximized her return on investment. So she could brag to her friends about how she'd trained me to value her more. It was disturbing on a level I couldn't even articulate at the time. All I knew was that something that had once felt authentic now seemed manufactured. And the woman I thought I knew was apparently running focus groups on how best to manipulate me into proposing, but I didn't say anything that night. I didn't bring it up. I didn't want to start a fight over what would just be explained away, as girls talk like that or you're overreacting. So I decided to just observe. I figured if she was playing a game, I'd let her play it. Let her think she was running things. Give her enough space to dig her own crater. I wasn't about to beg for affection I used to get without asking. But nothing changed. It got worse. She started mocking my routines, told me I make the same 3 meals every week, like a divorced dad. Said I was comfort food in human form, safe but boring. Kept saying how I never surprise her anymore. Meanwhile, she hadn't planned a single thing for us in months. No dates, no real convos, no future planning. Just vibes and criticism. She stopped being a partner and started acting like she was auditioning for a reality show. I didn't know I signed up for, like I'd wake up early and start making pancakes. And she'd walk in like, "Oh, look at you trying to be useful." Just like that. No thanks. Just that dry sarcasm you use when you're talking to someone you low-key resent. We were watching a show one night, and I made a comment about one of the characters being a little toxic. And she said, "Please, you'd probably write a whole spreadsheet on how to express your feelings." Then she laughed like she landed a punchline. I didn't even react. Just took another bite of food and kept watching. It wasn't even insults half the time. It was tone, looks, that I'm stuck with this guy energy. Like I was some sad Wi-Fi connected appliance she couldn't return. She stopped asking how my day was. If I brought it up, she'd go, and nod while texting. She'd be on her phone all the time, scrolling, posting, DMing, while I sat 2 feet away feeling like an afterthought. It wasn't just that she stopped trying. It was that she seemed proud of it, like she thought being cold made her more interesting. There's this one day I remember perfectly. We were supposed to grab lunch after I finished a site meeting. Nothing fancy, just this burger spot we both liked. I got there 5 minutes early, grabbed a table, texted her. She replied 15 minutes later. Still getting ready, can you just order for me? She showed up 35 minutes late. Didn't apologize. Sat down and immediately started filming her plate. And, yeah, that sounds minor. But when you stack that on top of weeks of cold shoulders, sarcasm, and complete lack of effort, it adds up. It builds into this quiet resentment that sticks to your skin. Then came the petty stuff, like purposefully ignoring my texts while online, changing the thermostat, and then accusing me of being cheap when I changed it back, leaving dishes in the sink for 3 days, then calling me anal when I asked her to rinse them. The more I stayed calm, the worse she got. Like me, not snapping was some kind of challenge. She thought I was weak or passive or boring. That part started to become clear. I remember one night I said, "Hey, we haven't really hung out this week. Want to do something just us?" She goes, "Like what? Sit and talk about your boring job again?" That was it for me. I didn't say anything, just stared at her for a second, nodded and walked out to the balcony. I sat out there for 20 minutes in silence, thinking this isn't a phase. This is who she really is. This is when she thinks she's above you. That whole make him feel lucky you're still around plan. Yeah, she committed to it fully, and it wasn't some clever power move. It was just nasty and low effort. It didn't make me want to fight harder for her. It made me look at her like she was defective, like someone who took a good situation and torched it for entertainment. And I could have said something. I could have confronted her and had a big blowout. But honestly, I didn't want to fight. I wanted an out, because I knew I can't live my whole life with someone who keeps playing games with me. So I stopped asking how her day was, stopped cooking unless I was hungry, stopped offering to do her little real estate videos. I just disengaged quietly. She didn't even notice at first. Or maybe did, but didn't want to bring it up. Because it would ruin her acting cold phase. I started sleeping on the edge of the bed. Worked later. Stopped inviting her to run errands with me. Stopped making small talk. The only words we really exchanged were, "Can you grab almond milk if you go out?" That was it. She stopped being a girlfriend months ago. I was just the one keeping the lights on, and not bothering to ask why she was so cold. But the truth is, I already had my answer. I wasn't planning an escape. I didn't need to. She was the one freeloading. I was just waiting for the right moment to end it. Without giving her a chance to play victim, during that stretch of radio silence between us, we got invited to a rooftop party for my buddy Derek. Known him since college. Solid dude, one of the few people I'd still grab a coffee with. His fiancée Kendra was throwing the whole thing for his birthday. Classy setup. She'd gone all out. String lights, a little speaker system, bumping some throwback playlist. Chill crowd. Some old college friends, co-workers, a few people I didn't recognize. Everyone just vibing. Brooke. She turned it into a runway. Took an hour in the mirror. Changed twice. Filmed an outfit check in the elevator on the way up. She looked good, sure. But she also looked like she came to impress strangers, more than support Derek. Me, I was calm. Had my drink, said my hellos. Posted up near the bar. I wasn't there for drama. I was there to finalize. I'd already called the movers. Her pickup was scheduled. Keys pulled, locks changed. Every box checked except one. And I had a feeling she was about to check it for me. Before the night was over, didn't have to wait long. We're standing near the drinks with a few people. Kendra's cousin or friend, don't remember exactly. Smiles at Brooke, then looks at me and goes, "You guys are seriously so cute. When's the proposal happening?" A harmless, polite question. One I'd gotten before. One I used to have an actual plan for. I didn't even get a word in. I actually felt everyone's eyes shift to me in that moment. That collective attention you can physically feel before a big moment. A few people even smiled encouragingly. Like they thought this might be some cute story we'd tell. The kind of question that makes a man tense up on instinct. I'd rehearsed answers to this before. When the time is right or still saving for the perfect ring. Standard deflections that keep everyone happy. Would have been easy enough. But Brooke couldn't even give me that basic respect. Couldn't let me save face in front of friends and colleagues. Instead, she went for maximum damage. Like she'd been waiting for exactly this opportunity all night. And I knew she was going to shoot her shot. Oh God, don't worry, I won't let him propose. She laughed loud enough that conversations nearby stopped. He's like my beta placeholder, you know. The reliable guy you settle for while you figure out your real standards. Then she actually put her hand on my shoulder. Like I was a freaking prop in her stand-up routine. He's great for paying bills and fixing things around the apartment. But marriage material? She made this exaggerated grimace and looked around for approval. I need someone who can actually excite me, you know. Someone with actual ambition. Then she had the nerve to add, no offense, babe, with a patronizing pat on my arm. Like I should be grateful for the clarification. A few of her friends snickered. One of them even nodded in agreement. She said it like it was funny, like I wasn't standing right there. Like she wasn't the one who was dying for me to propose. Like she hadn't been sending me ring photos for months, strategically leaving bridal magazines around the apartment, or telling her mother our wedding colors. Like she hadn't been playing this twisted game of acting cold, to make me chase her specifically to get that proposal. The sheer audacity, though. She was publicly humiliating me as part of her strategy. This was the final test. In her warped mind, this was the moment I was supposed to man up and prove myself worthy by defending our relationship, maybe even dropping to one knee right there, to show her how wrong she was about me. That's what her little playbook predicted. Push him to his breaking point in public, and he'll do anything to reclaim his pride, including putting a ring on her finger. She expected me to compete for her, to beg, to prove my worth, to someone who clearly thought I had none. I could see it in her eyes. That smug confidence of someone who thinks they're playing chess. While everyone else is playing checkers, she thought she was forcing my hand in some masterful power play. That after this little joke, I'd finally realize what I might lose and lock her down for good. What she'd never considered was a third option, that I might simply walk away. At that moment, you could feel the mood die instantly, like someone muted the background noise. A couple people awkward laughed, but mostly it was just dead silence. I heard one girl go, "Whoa." Someone else whispered, "Did she just say that?" Derek looked at me like, "Yo, you good?" Kendra literally stopped mid-step with a tray of cupcakes and just stared. Me. I took one slow sip of my drink, put it down, looked her right in the face. Yeah, about that proposal. She blinked like she didn't expect me to say anything. I pulled the keys from my jacket and dropped them on the bar in front of her. You won't need these anymore. She froze. A few people glanced at each other like, what is happening? I kept going. Not even angry. Just done! I'll let you in to pack your stuff. Movers come tomorrow. Locks are already changed. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. She looked around like someone might save her. No one did. And for the record, I never saw you as a wife. Not even close. Someone straight up gasped. One guy near us muttered, "Damn," under his breath. I looked at Derek and Kendra. Happy birthday, man. Seriously great setup. Sorry for the extra entertainment. Then back to Brooke, who still hadn't moved. You wanted someone who scares you. Start with living on your own. That should be terrifying enough. And I walked out, left her standing there in complete shock. I heard the party behind me erupt into hushed conversations, the kind of buzz that follows dramatic exits. Someone called my name. Derek, I think, but I kept walking. I wasn't going to make his birthday about my drama. Let her handle the aftermath. Let her explain herself to a room full of witnesses who'd just seen her true colors. Let her try to spin this into another quirky anecdote for her Instagram. For the first time in our relationship, the mess was hers to clean up, not mine. Her first call came before I even hit the elevator. Blocked it. Then her friend Chloe called. Ignored. She sent this long paragraph text about what happened and how I blindsided her. Said I overreacted. I left her on read. The calls didn't stop for 2 days. She tried every number she could. Even texted me off her work phone. One message said, I don't know why you'd humiliate me like that. Another one said, you didn't even give me a chance to explain. Now you don't get to say what you said in front of a room full of people and then play shocked that it didn't land. That wasn't a joke. That was a mask slipping, and I let it stay off. Blocked every number. Sent one final message before doing it. You spent months treating me like I was disposable. I just proved you right. Done. I thought she might chill after that. Accepted. Nope. The movers came the next day like I'd arranged. I told them exactly what to pack. Bedroom, closet, living room. I left a note on the door and emailed her the window. She didn't have a key, but building security let her up when the movers arrived. I locked my office door before I left. I figured she'd get her things. The movers would load up, and that would be the end of it. I spent the morning at a coffee shop down the street, nursing an overpriced latte and getting some work done. Figured I'd give her space to get her shit and get out without a scene. Mature, right? That was my first mistake. When I got back around 4 o'clock, The movers were gone. And so was she supposedly, but something felt off the second I walked in. And yeah, the office door was wide open. I knew right then. She forced it. My custom PC, the one I'd spent months building component by component, was in pieces. Screen shattered. Tower knocked over with the side panel caved in. Graphics card snapped in half. Liquid cooling system leaking all over my desk. Nearly $4,000 in hardware destroyed. In what must have been 2 minutes of rage. The movers didn't even go in there. Check the logs later. They said the door was closed the whole time. So yeah, she did it after they packed up and left. A parting gift. Standing there looking at the wreckage, I felt something break inside me too. Not anger. That would come later. But this cold, hollow feeling right in my chest. That PC wasn't just expensive hardware. It was hundreds of hours of research. Late nights troubleshooting. The satisfaction of building something with my own hands. Every cable managed perfectly. Every component selected with care. It was the one thing in the apartment that was 100% mine, that I'd created from nothing. Seeing it deliberately destroyed like that. Hit harder than her words at the party, harder than the months of cold shoulders. This wasn't heat-of-the-moment cruelty. This was calculated. She knew exactly what this would do to me. Knew exactly what she was taking from me. And she'd done it anyway, just to make me hurt like she was hurting. She'd left a note tucked under my keyboard. Bet you didn't see this coming, Mr. Predictable. Cool. Real mature. I triple-checked with the movers. None of them ever went into the office. I told them it was off limits. And the door was closed the entire time they were upstairs. One of them mentioned they were finishing up the loadout downstairs. When she went back up alone, said they figured she forgot something. They didn't hear anything. Makes sense. She waited until they were out of earshot. To do her damage quickly. I didn't call her screaming, although I wanted to. I just took photos of everything, meticulously documented each item damaged, pulled up receipts and calculated the total cost. $5,847.23. Then I sent her one email. You have 48 hours to transfer $5,847.23 for property damages. Or I press charges. Building security cameras caught you entering and leaving. Your choice. Oh, and I added, forced entry to the report. Not that you care about consequences. You've always been more about theatrics than results. I attached all the photos and receipts. No accusations, just facts and a deadline. She called immediately. I didn't pick up. Then came the texts. Are you freaking serious? You humiliated me in front of everyone. And you're worried about your stupid computer. You ruined my life. I forwarded these to my buddy who practices law. He sent a formal letter, reminding her about criminal destruction of property, potential civil litigation, and how her documented threats weren't helping her case. The money hit my account the next morning. No message, no explanation, just the exact amount, probably dipped into her housing fund, that she never actually contributed to when we lived together. Or maybe Daddy bailed her out again. Either way, I didn't care. She tried showing up at the condo the following day. Security called up. Sir, there's a woman here saying she forgot some of her things. She has nothing here. Don't let her up. According to the front desk guy, she caused quite a scene, screaming about how I was threatening her to pay me and threatening to call the police. The irony of her threatening legal action after what she'd done wasn't lost on me. 3 days later, I get a message from Derek. Says, bro, check this out. Sends me a screenshot. Brooke had posted this long Instagram story. Black background, white text. The usual pity party script. Sometimes you give your all to someone who was never capable of loving you back. Growth comes from pain. And a blurry photo of a candle or whatever. But then it got worse. She started reaching out to mutual friends, telling people I blindsided her, that she was just joking, and that I made her look bad on purpose. She tried to flip it. Said I'd been pulling away for months, that I was emotionally distant, and she was just venting at the party. Funny how the part where she destroyed thousands in property didn't make it into her victim narrative. Selective memory is a hell of a thing. Kendra messaged me directly and asked if I was okay. Told me Brooke had tried to claim we were having problems, and I was unstable and acted out. That one made me laugh out loud. Yeah, I guess being stable and calm while walking out is now considered a breakdown. Cool. So I sent Kendra the full version, including photos of the smashed PC and Brooke's little goodbye note. Kendra didn't respond right away. When she did, it was a string of WTF texts, followed by, "You're not going to believe this." See someone film the rooftop scene. Not just the moment, but like the whole setup, including Brooke's entire comment verbatim. From the "I won't let him propose," all the way to her calling me a beta placeholder. Kendra was floored, said she couldn't believe Brooke had the audacity to try and rewrite that in her favor. Then she told me the video had already gotten out. Someone at the party posted it to TikTok. I checked. Yep, there it was. Caption said, "When your girl calls you a placeholder and he deletes her from his life in real time." 500,000 views. Comments were wild. She deserved that. Bro walked out like a villain and I'm here for it. She really thought she had the main character energy, lol Mao. She turned off her comments that same day. A few people messaged me with laughing emojis. A couple guys I hadn't talked to since college said, "Yo, legend, move." I didn't respond. I wasn't in it for clout. I just wanted her out of my life. But Brooke, she wasn't done embarrassing herself yet. She tried the sympathy angle next. Sent a message to Derek asking him to talk to me for her. Said she missed the connection we had. That she acted out because she was scared I'd leave. But that's not fear. That's entitlement rotting from the inside. You don't disrespect someone for months and then say it was fear. That's like setting fire to your own house and calling it a coping mechanism. I never replied. I never even said her name again after that. 3 months in my own condo felt like a goddamn rebirth. No drama, no dead weight. Just me. Upgraded PC, loud music, hoodie on repeat, and peace that finally felt like mine. And then, of course, she tried one more thing. A week after the TikTok went viral, I got a handwritten letter in my mailbox. No envelope, just folded paper stuck between some Amazon packages. It said, "I didn't mean what I said. I was just trying to sound confident. I didn't realize how hurtful I sounded until you walked away. Yeah, because nothing says sincere apology. Like watching your reputation get cooked online first." She closed it with, "If you ever want to talk, I'm still here." No, you're not. You were here. You just treated it like an audition you thought you were too good for. I didn't reply. I folded it neatly, tossed it in the shred bin with junk mail. Right where it belonged. Derek and Kendra stopped by every couple weeks. Brought pizza, whatever. No pressure to entertain or worry about someone rolling their eyes when I talked about work. Just actual friends who gave a shit. "Dude, the TikTok's at like 2 million views now," Derek said one night. Scrolling through his phone, "You're basically a cult hero to dudes everywhere." "Don't care," I said. And I meant it. Not trying to be famous for having shit taste in women. Kendra laughed so hard she almost spit out her drink. Trust me, nobody thinks you have shit taste. They think you have epic self-respect. Whatever. Internet fame wasn't my goal. Living in peace was. Brooke's social media went through the 5 stages of grief in real time. First came the vague posts about betrayal and unexpected endings. Then anger. Some shit about men who can't handle strong women. Then the bargaining phase. Posts about working on yourself and growing from mistakes. Depression hit with the black and white filters. And song lyrics about loneliness. Finally, acceptance. Or what looked like it anyway. She started posting normal shit again. Real estate brunches, group photos where she was trying way too hard to look happy. The classic "look how great I'm doing" performance. I muted her ages ago. But Kendra kept me updated against my will. Said Brooke was losing it behind the scenes. Apparently she wasn't taking the breakup like she pretended online. She'd call mutual friends crying at 2 a.m., show up to group events looking like she hadn't slept in days. Once cornered Derek at a bar and grilled him about my new girlfriend. There wasn't one. Hadn't even tried dating. Wasn't against it. Just wasn't rushing into another situation where I'd end up feeling like someone's ATM with a pulse. She came by the office yesterday. My coworker Nathan told me one afternoon. We were reviewing site plans when he dropped that bomb. "Who your ex, Brooke?" She was asking if you were seeing anyone from work. Fuck me. What did you tell her? That it was none of her business. And security doesn't like unscheduled visitors. I just nodded and went back to work. Didn't even give it energy. But inside I was thinking, this bitch really can't take the L and move on. Then came the emails. First to my personal account, which I blocked. Then to my work address, which our IT department filtered after the third one. Subject lines like, "We need to talk, and please just hear me out." Delete. One Friday, I got home to find a package outside my door. No shipping label, just my name written on it. I knew immediately it was from her. Didn't even bring it inside. Tossed that shit straight in the dumpster behind the building. Whatever was in there, apology gifts, photos, letters, wasn't worth reopening that wound. A week later, her cousin reached out, said Brooke was in a really bad place and just needed closure. I texted back, closure happened at the party. Nothing else to say? The cousin replied with a whole paragraph about forgiveness and second chances. I didn't even read past the first line. Before blocking that number too. See, that's the thing these people don't get. Closure isn't a conversation. It's not a negotiation. It's a decision. And I made mine the second she called me her beta placeholder. In front of everyone, her friends kicked off the whisper campaign like clockwork. Ran into one at the grocery store. She just happened to mention Brooke had really changed and was going to therapy now. Said she's working on herself. Cool. Hope her therapist warned her that consequences don't come with a refund policy. Then about 6 months later, Kendra hits me up. Sends a screenshot of Brooke's new Instagram post. No caption, just vibes. Brooke glammed up. Tight black dress, new hair, new bad bitch energy. She looked dangerous. The kind of hot that makes bad decisions sound like a good time. The kind of hot that used to cost me sleep, and now just costs her pride. Kendra adds, "Be honest, would you give her another shot?" I looked at the pic. Replied, "Who's that?" She hits me with, "Stop, you know who that is." So I told her straight. Sure if she's into being a side quest with no dialogue? No storyline and definitely no boss fight. FWB maybe. But if she says the word proposal again, I'm throwing myself off the balcony with my PC. Kendra left me on read. What do you guys think? Should I give her a second chance? I mean, my ex is looking like temptation with high heels. Nah, I'm messing with you. Sort of. Maybe if she signs an NDA and brings tacos.